It caught me off guard. I was like, here's what do we even have to. This is what they mess up when they're actually the first time still by the computer. They're missing this section. And you don't really transcribe all the word transcribe. There's like things they can't do. But one does it. Interesting. But I think it's a different. What is it?
Ready to go?
Is it certified by EPA? So that was just certified.
We're gonna fire. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll call the meeting to order. We'll start with pledge allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Briefly, on the live stream there, we're compliant with our. We're on the live stream, you got us in compliance with our.
And then the thing is we will make every best effort to live stream, but we won't delay the meeting for it, but it is running.
Sounds perfect. We are official, I think. We can do a roll call, Mr. President.
Mayor,
Yes.
Tracy,
Yes.
Dave.
Here.
Patrick.
Here.
Matthew.
Yes. We'll ask the group to review minutes from our previous two meetings, so that'll be May and June. We just have a small note from the May meeting. I think we actually met on the 18th. And I think the header reflects the 19th. And I think also for that May meeting, Max, well, also, here, but not as either being here or not here. My notes say. Otherwise, I have no changes for either.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as they stand. Corrected.
Those being.
So we do both at once, Zach?
Yeah.
I'll second. I'll second, yeah.
Tracy,
Yes.
Dave.
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Matthew,
Half. You're staying half.
Change for one. Excellent, thank you. Folks, this is where we can open up to public comments. Anybody?
I think everyone that signed up down there. We're talking about the front road annex tonight.
So we are having a just discussion period. We did receive the rezoning application last week. I informed the representatives of Schleybaugh Builders that it obviously would be on tonight's agenda for action. We have to schedule a public hearing 30 days out, which would be this Friday if we reschedule our meeting. So formal action or consideration will happen in August, we believe, but something to discuss tonight for sure.
This is driveways. From what I understand, they want to put one of the main driveways across from my house, where I got trailers, didn't have to go to work every day.
Yep.
I would like to see that made down towards the cemetery.
So
From the house.
we can provide feedback that they'd like to see.
I haven't gotten to see the plans, I've only heard about them from folks that down in the park.
Those public records, all right. That has a couple markers.
Thank you.
Just generalized, not.
So we can see if they can do any redesign. Because I know you've had this concern before. The question I have is there any type of landscaping that we could do? If I were to ask them to do some kind of landscaping and maintain it as part of the HOA to keep headlights and stuff out of your house, is that anything that you think is even a possibility?
Not there, over on the hill.
Okay. Okay. I will, we'll relay that to them and also mention it at the first hearing.
It's on a curve too.
That's all the screen. Couple curves.
No way, Jay.
Yep, I see the home run.
Towards the cemetery.
Closest to the.
Yes.
Yeah.
And just as a public comment, I'll throw it out there, if there's any way you guys can post an agenda, even by noon, like you're the only person that can post any agenda.
Typically we do, that's on me. Today was kind of a crazy day for me, so when I just saw that comment on Facebook, I just posted it. So, but typically we do, so
No, even, I was like, feeling, I don't know if the door was locked out front, and like, I'm like, okay, are they having a meeting or not?
it should have unlocked me.
Yeah,
Figure it out.
We walk back in and out, we not.
it's fixed.
Oh, pretty strong. This is, well, thank you.
At least they put the streets in this country.
Mr. Vogel, any other thoughts while you're having a look there, or?
Yeah, I'd like to see that driveway down at the cemetery.
That's the more northerly one, you're right across from that one.
I'm dead center
So,
You want to go over and say, would that help you?
perhaps, yeah, there's a couple things
That's right.
listed there, TNT quality.
The equality, property, that's my property.
Gotcha, maybe it's pushing already.
Directly across from the property.
Gotcha. Thank you.
But calling me there, we could drive right there.
Is that driveway on the southern part of your property?
There's two driveways.
Two driveways.
We own the house and rent the other side out, so we have two driveways. It's basically a circle driveway.
I see that. Thank you. Copy that. And I personally, I don't care if we get to discussing that later, part of the, feel free to chime in on that as well. Anything for public?
Not just question about Arbor Homes, all the big rumors that they're backing out. I assume they're just negotiating. Can you tell me where we're at?
I'm going to defer to the folks that perhaps might be talking to me more regularly.
So my understanding is that Arbor Homes or Thistlegate up on the north end of town, they're still putting together plans. I believe they were going to kind of wait for Schleybaugh to get through the process instead of inundating the commission with two rezoning applications at the same time. So I've still received emails asking for agendas and asking if rezoning has been submitted by Schleybaugh. So clearly they're still working on their plans. I think they're also waiting so that it's kind of a one at a time process for this commission to consider these rezoning requests, which are probably one of the more complex things this body will undertake.
The only other question I had are, have they figured out where they're gonna make entrances to that property? Or cut in on 314?
So they've proposed, they came to a meeting and proposed some preliminary plans where they've got entrances both on 314 and on Updike. I think it was 2 on Updike and 1 on 314, if I remember. Right.
They haven't changed it.
Yeah, so these are all preliminary. They haven't actually submitted, like Schleybaugh has, a formal request for any.
And that would have been, geez, the March meeting we came to?
I think it was March, yeah.
Copy that. I know we're circling back to one of those, but we'll close public and move to reports. I do not.
I can report that we've been working on this a little bit. We've been going through the new permitting software. Put a few applications, but that's it. Mostly working on the permitting software. There's a lot to unpack there. And then taking these as they come.
Nothing this month. John has asked that I do a summary of the plan development rezone process like I did for I think that was the variance that we did last month. So for the next meeting, I'll have one of those put together, kind of like a cheat sheet for how to get through that process. Fact sheet. What was that called? Adopting findings of fact, something like that. Yeah, well, yeah, something similar to that, yes. Yep. The old business. So old business, new business, or blank. So we can move into the discussion.
Any other old business? Anything by other subdivisions?
So we were gonna handle that since it's not formal business, we're gonna handle that under discussion.
Just not any other subdivision.
The only application we've received to date is, the rezoning for Ship.
Yeah, I personally don't like the way they come off. I noticed, what was to remove the setback homes from the entrance?
So I put just some generalized notes on there. I'm trying to, I didn't want to, I'm gonna have one off the road. So I put some generalized notes on there. I think that there's a possibility that it would be in our best interest to move those first three houses that I highlighted. And then if we're comfortable with their amount of proposed homes, I put a little area in my, but basically where they have their road E stub that has a B next to it, that would be a very future development. We could give them a land bank for there because they could fit those houses. And if they do end up doing a second neighborhood and they use the road, then just give them a land, house bank for the next development.
Well, what, the green space up there along Cook Road, what's it, is it just, they can't get to it from the road? Can they push those houses back or those lots back and put in boulevards kind of where you come in there?
I think, I don't know how much space they have right there, because they don't have a little ticker that says what they are from that house to the road. I think they need like over 100 feet, which is obviously doable. I'll mark this.
I mean, it'd probably be safer than coming cold right off the road.
The speed limit will have to change out there. That'd be 25 through there. Let's say 10.
Used to be 25 yesterday. It's not
On Grove Road.
not when it starts. That's good to know.
So what is blue line and running? The blue line, that's the river. I draw that. I didn't draw that. I don't know who drew it in. That's some sort of waterway.
It's North Fork, North Fork, that's the North Fork.
Okay.
You know, that's a creek coming from the shore, by the high school football field,
Behind your
back by the
house.
old sewer plant.
Yep.
The other side, behind me, behind that. That ain't one. They meet up further down. They meet out underneath the bridge. Okay. Thank you. This one goes back to San Antonio, this one, store second.
So to replace these three, you have indicated you're talking about putting. Yeah, it moved, it like moved, when I printed it. Yeah, that green where it says road E. If they don't actually, that's a future stub road. If they wouldn't actually use that, they could move those houses back there
leave that road.
Can I ask another question? Does Centerburg really need this many houses? Right now, there's 28 on the market, and this all started in February, when it started coming for 3. People are leaving.
There's 53 on the market right now, Centerburg had
53 to 70.
53.
I pulled up Zillow before I came in here today, and it's 28 minus properties.
Some of them.
Somebody told me the other day there was 44 new houses built in Hilliard and Milford Township last year.
There's more going up. The more I drive, the more.
And nobody says a word about that.
Oh, I know. Trust me, I know. I'm not a fan of that either. But this many in one 56-acre lot is insane. Was there 89?
Next to these guys, there's 250 proposed.
It's nuts.
That's me.
Why do we need to build that?
We'll have free traffic lights. Somebody's gonna be sitting in traffic trying to get through the lights.
The only other problem I
There's
have
20 in your school district.
is there's so many people in Centerburg trying to move to Fredericktown or Belleville.
Actual house.
They're sold before they get on the market.
That doesn't include land. You have 20 in your school district.
Let's have one conversation.
So, yeah.
On your 5-year plan, sure. On your setbacks that you have, I noticed that they're proposing a 5-yard, 5-foot setback. That's really close.
Where are you seeing that?
Up here in the top, or, like the second one.
Right here?
Does it say like lot
Under
number?
proposed plan development, the.
District, single family,
the-
minimum side yard setback is 5 feet. Total for both sides is 15.
That means one would be 20 and one would be 5. I think that's
One
proposed.
would be 10 and one would be 5.
I mean, by the time you put it, is that including your fireplace with your air conditioner?
Has to include the eve for the house, anything that extends past our house, we paid it, so like.
So, I mean, that's just really close, you might wanna check with the fire department. You know, our fire,
It's 6, you have to be 6, minimum 6 report.
well, I mean,
John-
what's your zoning code? Whatever you guys pass, just remember that that's setting your precedent.
So if it's planned development, it doesn't set any precedents because they're case by case. They're not rewriting the zoning text.
But if you pass it once, you're gonna ask for.
So I want to talk about the setbacks really quick, John. So it looks like they have a 5 and a 15. So to
15
me,
total,
they're
15 total, so it won't be 5, it won't be 10.
one will be 5, one will be 10. So it looks to me like they're still looking to get a 15 between houses.
Yeah.
Are they offsetting on the lots? Is that what we're guessing?
Yeah, you know, it's probably based on what house they put, what their width is and the house. they put.
And that has to be from the overhang. If it has 132-foot overhang, that's where the setbacks. Or that's where they start at the overhang.
The other discussion I've heard from builders is they can't build closer than 12 feet together. Otherwise, the cost of construction is too high, they have to build firewalls in. So it seems like they're proposing about a 15-foot home at this point. I'd have to look. So.
It's been just, it's been any variances, all that would be.
Well, plan development is an agreed upon rate, so there will be no variance.
Okay, so this is plan.
But for a comparison, we did variances on the townhomes on Fairview, and I know it's a whole different area of town. But those were 6-foot setback variances. In an R2 district, we talked about, it's 8 feet is the standard.
It's what one, R1 and R2.
So are we still getting feedback on the plan? It's just great.
I was just marking.
I'm still not understanding why you've got 4 lots up here where you replace the ones that.
So instead of taking them all the way all together, they have a sub road up there. And the point is if they're not trying to do, if they put a road in, you can just give me unit bank for the next one.
What's the road for?
For a future development, they own the land behind it.
There's 4 phases, Dave.
But no, they have
First
two,
one's 5 acres.
they have 2 stub roads for a future development. One at the cul-de-sac, where the proposed common use area is.
All right,
And one in where those 3 houses are missing.
okay, so you're saying they're.
I'm saying that if they're not
I
gonna use that as a road,
to that effect, that's fine.
that's what the note B is. Road
Yeah, this is more.
reservation for future extension.
Oh, it's written on there.
Yeah, it's B.
Yeah, it's there.
On this.
It's on that same page. It'd be page 2. It says it on their like 4-page drawing.
Really, phase 1's 5 acres, 10% of the time.
So when we do preliminary approval on a PD rezoning, we're preliminarily approving all 4 phases.
We would be preliminarily approving the development as a development. According to our text, if you're reading, it appears that you're approving it as a development and you're not approving their plat until you approve their plat. It's separate. And their plat would be separate. So you would just be giving them a development approval. Hey, yeah, you can develop this parcel, we can do a plan development, it can be residential. And then we can do the plat at the same time. And that would be their preliminary plat. And then
Would you normally plat all 4 phases or just plat one?
I plat all 4, so you know what they're getting. And then if they want to change the phases as they go,
They have to
they have to resubmit for those phases. So they may take houses out, they might,
But they have to come back.
they have to go in. If we deem it a major, if it's a minor than just planning commission, it's a major than planning commission and council.
So the advantage to approving the full plat is they can't change.
They won't go.
Because that's too.
Correct.
Gotta remind me, this would be the process that triggers an PCA.
Correct. Actually, I expect that council will pass, I don't have any information to the contrary. The council will pass the language you recommended on August 3rd, which means they cannot receive PD rezoning from this commission without an agreement to join an NCA or do the land dedication. Now, the language does say that if you find it's in the best interest of the village, if council does, you can waive those requirements. But there's gonna have to be a discussion that answer is going to have to be given to us before they can get their result. That's basically what the language you passed. So I have already emailed them, telling them they would need to sign on to the NCA petition. They are aware of land dedication, so if we don't come to the August meeting, I don't necessarily expect that you guys are gonna be ready to vote in August, but at least we can have our public hearing. Everybody can get some feedback, and then maybe in September. But if they come into the August meeting and the village, the mayor and I don't think they have an NCA agreement and a land dedication agreement that'll work, they're gonna have to have it by September, or I would just keep pushing the decision off until they, bring you something that you feel is fair. I'm jumping a little bit ahead here, but in the future, we're gonna try and take this off of your plate. Future pre-annexation agreements, and this is how it's recommended by our NCA attorney, should have a requirement even before council considers the annexation to join the NCA. So the language you passed is really to address these 2 current housing developments and make sure they're not slipping in under the rules. In the future, you'll control land dedication. You'll make sure that they're dedicating the necessary amount of cash in lieu. But before it even gets here, before it even gets annexed, they should have already agreed to the NCA. We just didn't think about an NCA when the first conversation.
But common area, you mentioned.
Yeah, I just put, so they have that proposed common area, right? Obviously, if the applicant was here, I'd be very curious on like what they mean by it. It just says it's a common area, like,
Is it grass?
is it grass? Is it a gazebo? And again, it's nothing that they need to like, if they're like, hey, we want to put some activity space there, that would work. I'm just curious on what they want to put there, so we know if they need parking or not.
One time they talked about pickle.
Right.
Who's maintaining one?
HOA. Everything on here, including the walking path, is HOA.
This was gonna work better than the one back there?
Which one?
Oh, Meadows? Yeah. Well, sidewalks will still be ours, roads will still be the village's, sewer, stormwater. But stormwater, road stormwater, these stormwater retention ponds are the responsibility of the HOA. The walking path and any common areas are the
Who
responsibility.
maintains around the water back there?
They would, so we got into this in Mount Vernon. The retention ponds need to continue to function as retention ponds. That includes mowing around the retention ponds. That's on the HOA.
At what point does the HOA take over the owner of the property?
So this is a good question for Schleybaugh. I know I've talked to a lot of places where the developer will typically run the HOA during initial, and then it
That's what I'm
turns
saying.
over when the final house is.
On the phase one, phase two, in phase.
Well, from the day they're the landowners at this point, so they have to maintain this entire site
Until what day?
for it.
All the houses have to be built before they.
No, they've got to mow the stormwater ponds while they're building houses. They've got
The
the developer or the HOA, however they arrange it.
okay, at what point are they? Again,
That's a question we should ask them, but it's sort of irrelevant to the village. At no point should we be mowing or taking.
It's relevant, because if something happened for somebody to do something, like, as a problem with Woodland down here in the pond forever.
Mhm.
So I'm just saying, I want to make sure.
I will stick Zach on them. You know, figure.
That's what's your thought.
So generally speaking, a developer wants to get rid of that responsibility as
Right,
quickly as
that's why I'm
possible,
asking.
yeah. But I think Rick's right that they're not gonna be able to turn that over until they're substantially complete on houses. So I don't
Complete
believe,
on, which, I mean, phase one, phase two.
I don't think they're gonna, if they try to do it in phases, they'd have to do multiple HOAs. I doubt that that's gonna fly with the,
How do we know that?
we don't, because we're not.
So, so phase one will pay, they'll put the bill for all four phases for a while.
Yeah, but if allow, that's the question, then what
Should we ask them for some?
I think we should. I think we should also be clear that the position we take with the developer, landowner, future HOA is, this is not the village's responsibility, period. And if we find that they're skirting their responsibility, I get my lawyer, the village's lawyer, and he gets it. I think that's the simple, but yes, we should get some answers. I'm not saying we shouldn't, but, you know, at no point will we put a lawnmower, village-owned lawnmower on this. Well, maybe at $300 an hour, we have to build that. What do we do?
And it's assessed.
Well,
Can we do that?
yeah, I guess I'm curious too, when they do this in phases, I'm assuming
Usually,
Pond A is
it's
gonna be-
usually only phase, that's building phases, it's not usually their HOA. I would assume that this neighborhood's one HOA.
I would too. I guess when they start construction of phase one, they're not gonna excavate all the way back here and build all three ponds.
No, they're gonna be pushing dirt.
So anytime we did Burgundy Bay, we sold a bunch of lots off, and each lot owner was responsible for part of the HOA. But then the lots that were remaining, that was HOA's, that was Burgundy Bay's baby in the HOA until the lot went to a private landowner.
at some point, the HOA has to take over. Yeah. how many lots have to be sold or in each, I don't know. I mean, that's why I'm asking.
I think it's variable, but I've seen it where the developer, and I think Arbor talked about this on theirs, I think the developer for Arbor holds responsibility for HOA functions until the final lot is sold. Some might do a majority lots. It just, again, it depends on the developer. But the developer knows it should be conveying at the HOA, which used to be community groups. From what I'm finding now, and I was a member of the HOA a while back, is they typically hire a management company for the HOA, and the management company deals with all that. It actually works out a little better on this.
Around, like,
Some
on
of
a
the
contract.
But usually the developer uses a management company, and then it's just easier for the landowners or the homeowners to just keep working with them.
We need to have, on paper, as
No, I think it's a good question. I just want to make sure that my position with this developer is this is your problem. You figure out when to go to the HOA, but let us know, for sure. I just don't want there to be any uncertainty on the developer's part about where our responsibility is.
There's a lot of laws in the state of Ohio.
Yeah, they don't say when they're gonna give it up, but it is one HOA. So
There's a lot of new laws on the books in Ohio that passed about HOAs and pertaining to a lot of who belongs, who owns it, who runs it.
This subdivision down here, they never, they were responsible. They never put together a deed. Nobody was ever voted in, nobody.
Who takes
Yeah,
care
all
of it?
business.
Who mows around the block?
Oh,
Neighbors?
not in the village, but
Who was that, Quillens?
yeah,
Who was the mayor at that time? Was,
weren't they?
You try to call.
Pretty much, what name?
Before that, I was on the planning.
Were you on the council then?
I was on planning.
No, we talked about it while.
Yeah. As a long.
It's one of those things, chicken, what comes first?
Yeah, the stable, so you're taking.
Stables.
Actually, 12 lots. But now it has to be very, very, she's done.
Yeah, they're running it.
And
Oh, back in the-
already said, there's two things gonna happen, either they start doing it, or the lawyers get involved and everything.
Yeah. That's what we went on.
Those are two things.
Okay.
Good idea.
So you can see this one.
So 60-foot radius in a fire truck. Move around that radius.
So we will, again, we'll have our engineering firm is supposed to look at this and have, when did they say they could get comments back?
By the week of the 20th.
By the week. So we should have some indication from them based on,
And they plan to attend whenever that meeting is if we decide to say. So since we're on that topic, I think we would like to, we don't have any other business. Part of the reason we had tonight's meeting is to start this discussion, but there's no formal business. You know, we would like to get the public hearing set up. And if we schedule that public hearing by this Friday and I have to send notice, or John actually has to send notice to the adjacent property owners. Within 30 days before. So we can do all that by this Friday. We can have a public hearing and council or commission meeting the week of the 24th. Is there a day that works best for this commission that week?
Talking the 24th August.
Monday. We do 24, 26.
Yeah, I'd be more inclined to go later.
26. How does 26 look for everybody here? Same time or? are we-
6 o'clock.
Wednesday.
So we'll schedule a public hearing and reschedule the planning and zoning meeting to 6 PM on August 26th.
Are we just doing this? We have something else.
If anything else comes up, we can do that, but
What do we do?
yeah, so the public hearing, mostly like a comment section, but specifically for this project. We'll get the word out for the hearing. We have to get the word out by Friday. Well, actually, we have to get it out by Friday.
Not gonna have a meeting of the 17th.
No,
Like, oh, that's the meeting.
I would say we're moving it, but yeah, it's canceled.
Got that? The 17th, the regular meeting, the planning commission's canceled that.
And do everything twice.
Yeah.
Correct. I don't suspect anything else will come up other than this, so we might as well just move that meeting to allow this to proceed. So we will put that out on Facebook and the website. We have to do a letter to adjacent property owners.
Sorry.
We did find the signs, so we could make John drive out there and put the sign in the ground.
You can sit out there.
Where's your orange jacket?
We can make it happen.
Well, it's at the zoning administrative discretion, but Dave Beck would like to sign.
What's the other going out?
We have a sign.
You know, you bring it out. Yeah, that's what we do. That's what we do. Most jurisdictions you have it here, they come pick it up and take it out.
Oh, you make them do it?
Yeah, you can do it. Then you're not trespassing.
Right.
Then you're not trespassing.
All right. Can you please note that we have to figure out how to get sign up? I did see it in the shop. Alex didn't know anything about it, and he found it one day, he's like, yeah, I found it. Any other discussion? This is not my meeting.
You're trying to get up. You want to do the next time?
Any other business?
No.
So, let's see. Looks like we're on discussion bullet point number 2. Pending pre-annexation for properties near Factory Street.
So I think as everybody's aware, I have received requests from MI Homes to start the annexation process with the village council for the 3 parcels behind Amherst. So one of them, which actually adjoins or connects to State Route 3, is already in the village. The other 2 parcels are outside of the village. So Zach has drafted up a pre-annexation agreement. I reviewed, had Greg Daniels, our NCA attorney who was with us last meeting, add some language about the NCA into that agreement. One thing they asked about was the potential, if it's approved, which that's up to this board and council, but the potential of purchasing all the taps for that property up front, because they know we're kind of in a squeeze on sewer taps. And so obviously if they bought, let's say it's 90 homes, 90 taps, if Schleybaugh bought 90, we'd only have about another 170 taps available until we expand. So, so there's some language in there saying that we'll set whatever they buy those taps for based on their build out, so we still get the same amount of money. Because if you think about it, they bought a tap right now to be $5,000 per home. Next year it's like $5,100. The year after it's like $5,200, $5,300. So we want to get the same amount of money, so we'll just tap it extra. So I put language in there for that, and sent that over to their representatives for the MCA language in there. So
That's 3 parcels. What about the house?
my understanding is that initially the house was not going to be part of their purchase, but that may have changed.
Can that stay in the township? Because it's surrounded by, it would be surrounded by village.
It can, so I actually reviewed the annexation law, so you know, there are plenty of areas all across the state where annexed village land surrounds a township area. What the law says is that you can't encompass a parcel as part of a single annexation, which means,
Can't be done wrong way, so.
yeah.
In an annexation. What?
So it could stay in the township, but my gut tells me that they're gonna end up buying the house too, and it's all gonna be part of the same.
I think we're gonna get time, but it's gonna be hard to get off Factory Street and put the road in without.
So when they called, I said, here's a number of things. Number one, you're gonna have to join an NCA up to 10 mills. Number two, you're gonna have to give land dedication of 1,500 square feet per house. I said, number three, we want you to fix Factory Street. If that's gonna be an entrance and egress, even though it's a public road now, it needs fixed and
What do we thought of fix?
rebuilt, repaved.
Left side. That's a
That's a thoroughfare. There's no right of way. They brought that up.
Well, their concern was
Right
expansion.
close to the blacktop.
Oh, these are all things, that if they, again, remember, the Ponderosa discussion started in August. The Schleba discussion probably started earlier than that. We're probably 6 to 8 months from seeing a rezoning application, if it's even annexed by the, there's a lot of questions. So I think we can have those discussions if it navigates its way through the process, for sure. But I'm trying to set a real expectation up front when people come up. Here are the things. If you don't like them, then don't keep trying. And every developer is aware of our sewer plant.
What's their general, is there a consensus, no problem, or are they like, geez,
On the requirements we have,
sewer?
on the sewer. From their perspective, if we could take on an unlimited number of houses, that's ideal for them. They don't seem overly concerned. But at the same time, it's why now you're seeing probably the first projects that get approved. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't want to buy their tax upfront. That's not bad for the village, especially if we're getting the same amount of money, because that money can immediately go into design of the new sewer plant. Like, that's cash on hand for us.
You think, what is it, 89 homes wants to pay up front?
Schleba, you mean?
In my home, a little bit money. Yeah,
Yeah. How about Schleba?
I don't know that they would. I don't think they're gonna do an upfront buy, and one of the things I'm gonna have to tell them is here's the deal. As soon as we hit 350 homes, unless the engineers through the comp plan analysis say we have more or less, we stop issuing building permits. So we can approve, planning and zoning can approve a planned zoning, they can approve a conceptual plan, a final plat. But at the end of the day, I told the developers, as soon as we run out of caps, you can't build any more houses, no matter what's. So they don't seem overly concerned about it. But just for perspective, I'll just say 100 taps brings in $500,000. Yeah, brings in $500,000. Which I would suggest to council when we budget, we immediately invest whatever we need to into a design of a new plant or an expanded. That is, so pre-annexation, for our council members here, assuming they want to start the process in August, they would have to get Zach and I feedback by either Friday or Monday for us to be able to get it on.
Any other discussion on number 3, Kalachi side?
You can take this around.
Oh,
you take it off?
You take it off, and then we can talk about it.
So, I started talking to the owners of the buildings, the Kalachi's building and then the Mercantile building. When we were going for a grant to try and get some facade improvements and murals, we didn't get that grant. And so as a downtown revitalization committee, as a village, we'll keep looking for opportunities, but until we find, I think, outside funding for those, we're not gonna move forward. But in the the discussion, I kind of asked the owner of Lodges, hey, how opposed would you be to moving that sign off the side of that building if we need to put a mural there? And he kind of indicated that actually he'd prefer if he could move it and actually put it out front. So I asked John to look into whether that's allowable, what we'd have to do, if it's a conditional use, whatever. What did you find?
So he could do some sort of protruding sign. The only issue he runs into is he already has a sign. And you can't have more than one sign on the same base. So you have to get a conditional use.
How does storefront?
Yeah, so you can't run like 4 of the same business signs on the same. You can have another sign like on the side or on the back.
Right.
You just can't run 2 signs on the front. He already has a sign on the front, so it'd be a different conversation if he wants to lose the sign that he has now and do a different sign, or if he wants to do some sort of protruding sign. We could look at doing a conditional use for it if that's the desire, because we want to take his other one off the side of the building.
And I know we're not doing it now, but I would argue that someday we'd like to put something inside of that building. I guess more of this discussion is to get anybody's thoughts on whether we'd be interested in recommending a conditional use to have a second sign. Obviously, the one faces street, the other one would face sidewalk. Do we have any other places in the village?
Yeah. Not 2 on the same street.
You have one in the back.
I don't think he has. If he does, it's not.
How much does this open us up to everybody else with keep signs?
I mean, it's conditional use, they can ask. We don't have to do it.
Picture file, Strauss, and it does very much open us up to everybody.
Well, why don't you walk through really quick while we've got some time, the reasons why we want to want these signs? What's the rationale behind it?
I think it's just because you're trying to limit how much signage you have everywhere all the time.
Yeah.
You don't want a ton of signs everywhere.
Yeah, that's not.
But you have to have some mainland. It would also be, I think that there's like a historical pole that's already out there, right? On that building.
Yeah, so there's already.
So there's like different reasons why I think that sometimes you can make it allowable and sometimes not. I mean, if he wants to have one that faces the other way, I think the conversation would be, you have to remove the other one.
You mean the front
The
face?
front facing sign.
It's above their door or something. It's above the door.
I think it's above his door.
Letters above the door.
Yeah, it's a nice looking sign. I don't know that you want to remove that one. So. Maybe what I can tell him is maybe we pause this discussion until we actually do a mural, because until then, we don't need your sign moved. And I don't know that we want to get into arguments about the sign code. I think if the village comes in and has a project where they want you to move the sign, that's a great case for this commission, maybe considering that.
Until you can move this one.
Yeah.
Fine.
What do you think?
Yeah, I'm just trying to look at what's.
Public post.
Yeah, there it is.
I mean, is that a case you use, like, look, there's a post hanging there that a sign looks like it belongs on, why not use it?
I think that you just said the Frigidaire one's one way, right?
Frigidaire one's gone, John gave it to you, okay.
Really?
Well, maybe.
Is the
People
Four
won't come to town
Seasons,
anymore.
is the Four Seasons, that a mural or a sign?
Yeah, I think it was a sign, wasn't it? We haven't discussed it.
I don't think that'd be a conforming sign.
Just gigantic.
That Four Seasons there.
On the side.
Oh, right here.
Oh, yeah. That's a mural.
Yeah.
But that's, but the Venice was an easier to actually.
Yeah, they have that. It's weird because the buildings. like I said, I think that if we get to the stance that we want a mural there, then we can talk about it.
I'll let Robert know, I don't think it's a big deal. Maybe he'll go out and find us some money for a mural, so he can do sign. Yeah. They just signed on the trail.
I was just gonna say that too.
There you go.
Those made signs.
You got 5 or 6 times. You
Well,
guys
I'll
get
be done.
permission? Yeah. Don't have any. He didn't build it.
I think I had somebody one time ask if they could put a sandwich sign on. I'm like, you're allowed to put a sandwich sign on. Where are you trying to place it? And they were like, well, down the street and around the block. I'm like, nah,
Try your bit.
in front of your business.
Unless you don't have, unless you don't, count.
Yeah. It was somebody down on, it was the building down by the track. They wanted to put it all the way down the corner of Main Street. I'm like, no, you can't put that all the way down there. Reasonably, you can be reasonable.
Right. There's a slight hill out there. We're come back to that. What it looks at. Doesn't allow sites for one.
That's where they're proposing their roads.
One of these, see this one? Yeah, that's one of those.
I think woods.
Yeah, so there's other two.
Just right between those two lines. And it's
Yeah, that's a height. It's supposed to be.
That's what I'm.
How long is that ceiling? It's not in there.
It's got 10 floors. Yeah, that's it.
Right, Creek.
That's a safe business. That just dropped you right out of here.
No, I don't send a break.
I was like, normally, yeah, I think it's very good.
It's one of those.
I think it's this one. This little guy.
What's this big block?
treat that pretty well. That's for a cemetery. That's a pretty block. Block.
Mr. Fogel, would you, maybe doodle on this page for me? Where would you, the roadway out in front of your home property, where does that kind of crest, where does that peak? So if we're looking at this road, it should look like it has to. Your height.
This is the height.
So I'm right here.
Visibility is a disc base with the school. From here to here is 100%. From here to here. When you pull out here, you're fine. I have a driveway right here. If you pull out this driveway, you're as good.
Yeah, that's what
You can't see the
I mean, that's what you see me messing with.
If put, if it was my subdivision, this section would flow. This one's fine because there's road on second, right?
Just trees.
And if they lower the speed limit, then actually this one forces it like right here by the cemetery blocks. There's access in that field.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so.
they could route that. Or route it off of this roundabout.
Never seen right here. Oh, yeah. This.
Does the county engineer have to look at that?
Like there's.
I would think the county has that.
Zach, would the county engineer have to approve that, where they go out on the road, county road?
Yeah, they would, I believe so, yeah, they have to issue a permit for that too.
But not if that is half of the road is in it.
That's a question I don't know.
Because technically that lane is no longer county road.
Can we actually just get Berwick Road and let them take care of it?
This section.
You raised some points there.
I'm not saying not, I'm just saying it's technically not county road as of.
Yeah.
3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
That annexation went to Mill Road, right?
Yeah.
How it's up.
Has it shown up? Have you guys ordered?
No, I'm on it right now.
That.
What's his
They-
report?
I'm sure.
Oh, no, but I believe that lot line, like every township, it goes center line.
Another question.
They got it on the, go to like the third sheet. Yeah. I think it's page 3 or 4. They have a lighting plan. It might be the last, it's 4. Here. Right here. So they have a light at each, just a street light at each entrance, a street light at each roundabout, or at each cul-de-sac and each intersection.
Got you. It's the red on 4. It's the red on 4. This next one here. So here.
Right here. Now.
I'm not sure if they put one here. Probably not. I'm sure.
Or they can do HOAs.
You, there, right?
Does there?
They had it.
They got the HOA.
Yeah, they still tell you when they're gonna do it, it's right here. And in there, that will be in their, development. It's right. Developers have a con association. The single family. Each road. Right.
Who do you tell? What?
Dave.
This is round table. Feels like round table. Which is
Square
the
table.
official of round table?
Yep.
Round table. We got next meeting moved. Make a motion to adjourn. So next meeting.
Any second?
Oh, Mr. Becker.
He said it real quiet.
6 P.M. next meeting, 6 P.M. not 7, 6 P.M. right?
6 p.m. on the 26th.
I'll actually move that calendar right now.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
I don't have one for. I just have one. 29. Weird time. Did she record them?
Yeah, but she's a good one.
How many more days still have?
I'll try.
I did that kind of
Oh.
figured it would catch.
We're gonna cut the live feed. Cut the live feed.
That's a lot of feedback.
Meeting is adjourned.
See no comments.
We're gonna get some.
We don't have any top fans yet.
So I know when it is. I want you to.
We got